Welcome, GMB pros. Welcome everyone that's here live. Ramona, I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, I apologize. Those that are catching the replay, I appreciate you guys as always. Um, this week's GMB pros will probably be a little late. William is traveling, and where he's at, he doesn't have great internet, so we might be a little slow on putting up the replays. But I want to again remind everyone of the goal of the GMB Pros, right? It is twofold. One is to help your agency grow within itself, getting more clients, or two is helping get better results for your clients. And that's our ultimate goal. We do that by bringing our regular guests, regular family members like Rhys to kind of share different pillars of marketing, whether it be the business side, whether it be content, whether it be on page, off page, softwares that help us, tools, right, that help us. And then there's also a traffic pillar of SEO, marketing, that is very crucial for Google to get awareness and engagement with Google. So today is like a Q&A with CTR updates, answer any questions you may have, set up maybe questions from time to time. I think we had CTRify last time, I guess, with Riz. That is pretty in depth. I didn't even realize you can do that much stuff with that particular piece of tool, which was pretty cool. So that's the ultimate goal, guys, is driven by you guys to help you. It's kind of from my perspective, like what I experienced, and I like to share it with you guys. With that said, Riz, welcome, man. Thank you for
Hey, good
being
to be
here.
back.
Thank you. Yeah,
Everything
absolutely. Yeah, we were
fine.
just chatting a little bit. It felt like we hadn't talked in a while, but sometimes we hit each other up during the week or in between the sessions. But Riz, for those that don't know you, if you can kind of give us a recap where you're at, because I know you're in a different part of the world. Um, kind of your background, where you've been and where you're at right now.
Yeah, so I'm from Australia originally. I focus on Google Maps stuff, CTR, optimization, ranking local businesses, and tying in all the aspects of what you need to rank, not just sort of focusing on one area. In saying that, though, I do run a CTR program, CTR driver, which is for maps listings. It's the first Android-based sort of mobile CTR system. Got all the native apps and does driving directions to the business. But today we're here to talk about CTR in general. I did have a couple of points written down, but if we've got any questions about anything related to things we've spoken about in previous calls or anything maybe we haven't addressed yet, feel free to put them in the chat and we can go through them. But I wanted to talk today about what to do if your GMB is not ranking as well as you thought it would, or sort of expectation wise, things aren't performing as well. Maybe you've taken on a new client, it's been a couple of months and you've gone through the initial things and maybe your strategy's off or the competition's more competitive than you thought. What are some things that you can sort of reflect, audit? How can you see if there's either been something you've missed when you first started setting up the campaign, or if things have changed as you've gone along and as a result, the competition is more competitive or anything else? So I wrote a couple of things down, but I guess this is more focused for a business that ranks, gets inquiries, but maybe it doesn't rank too well. You've seen an increase in the past couple of months, but it's sort of been stagnant. Maybe you think you've done the setup, the optimization, the foundational work, your press release, your citations, we've done a bit of on page to the website. And I kind of want to sort of go back to step one, which for me is always checking the proximity, checking the competitor's rank, because quite often Google gives different businesses, different areas, pockets of businesses where they're going to rank. And let's.
And this is key, as Riz is setting this up, guys. This is where a lot of mistakes that I see are made, right? They think that no matter what CTR, right? CTR booster, agency assassin, Riz's one, my personal one. It doesn't really matter which one. If like that essential research is not done, right? The competitors, the proximity, what Google is showing for that particular keyword in that particular area, because there is a huge difference where Google, no matter what the niche is, they're like, nope, you're staying in this area. I'm not expanding. If you look at all the other competitors and you do like you watch it on the heat map, you'll see it just blocks, like they don't let them out of those different blocks. So that is such thing that exists for sure.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys can see my screen. This is just a random law firm in New York. And as you can see here, if we click on one of the listings, it's quite centered around that main area. And if we go back, we can see, looking at all of the different grids, it's the same pattern. Like there, as you see here, it starts to go down to the lower areas, which are green. So that shows that the business is located in that lower area. These guys, same thing. I would assume the business is located down here. And then you're just getting that sort of a tiny section of the grid. And we all know how small Manhattan is in terms of size. The fact that you're only getting such a small, tiny little area, I mean, now we're getting down to businesses that don't rank, but it's the same thing over and over. And if we go to a business, and let's say we go up here to the north, we click on one of these rankers, we'll see the same thing. In the north section, the businesses only rank in the top half of the grid. Even these guys who rank number 4, their ranks only very slight. So looking at this, it's pretty obvious that if your client is at the top of the map, it's not possible to rank in the bottom, because even the top guy who has a huge ones across the board down here, 20 plus. So if you're seeing advancement and movements out and improvements in rank, but not to the sort of size or expectations that you initially had, always the first thing to check is this. And all of the tools will have this feature. And you can really sort of zone in on different areas. And if we go to the bottom, we'll see the same thing. It's just, that very competitive financial district of Manhattan. You can see that these businesses have like a couple of squares of green, all of them, just because of how competitive that area is. I mean, I've never seen something this bad. That's actually crazy, but these guys do them better. But all of them just have like a couple of dots. So if you're in this position, check this out. Check out the rank of the competitors. And if you do see something troubling like this, it's time to have a conversation with the client about expectations, opening a second business, getting a virtual office, getting some pin drops, anything you can do to get a rank in an area where it's too far away from you proximity wise to rank.
So if somebody gets a client like this, Riz, what is kind of like your first couple steps or analysis, or what is the expectation that you go over with the client?
So if if you're getting areas where the grid is very small, the green section of the grid, then you have to show that to the client and basically explain to them that this is all that Google's rewarding, and no SEO company can guarantee or give you long-lasting results that are better than what the competitors have. Like, sure, you can maybe do some tricks, and you know, we've all seen stories and maybe done it ourselves of ranking statewide or nationwide for a competitive keyword, but in 100% of the cases, it gets pulled down eventually. So if you're trying to grow a business and build a brand, like most lawyers and sort of professional businesses are, then you have to showcase what the competitors are doing, how they're getting the benefit, and what benefit they're getting. So where are they ranking? Because you can't get better than the best. Even if you become the best, you're not going to suddenly get twice as much distance as the number one or number two. And I guess that in these areas where it is competitive and it is a small area, I suppose emphasizing on the volume, and if it's high competition, it's obviously competitive, meaning it's profitable. So if businesses that are already there are making a lot of money, it's obviously worth it for your client to be there. So you might only be able to rank them in a 2-mile radius, but that might generate them 50 calls a week. So you have to sort of explain and get your point across with those terms. I guess it comes down to showing that the value that you're providing to the business is more than what you're charging. And going in with huge expectations is never the answer. Like, saying you can do stuff that's not possible is what gives SEO a bad name.
100%, 100%.
So I guess, like, you've had a look at the rank. Maybe the competitors are ranking better than you, most of the competitors. So you've got some rank, but you've seen the proximity is not crazy. Like, all the other guys that rank well, they have huge grids, twice the distance of what you're ranking for. The next thing I'd be doing is doing an audit of the Google business profiles. So hang on one second.
So guys, this is like what I call like the best practices, right? You take a look at the grid, you see the competition, right? And then you're able to kind of go from there and adjust. Make sure, like, once you see this, you adjust your expectation. Don't tell a customer you can do like pull this off when you can't, based on what you see in front of you data, right?
Exactly. Like, it's quite easy to bullshit customers. They most of the time have no clue what they're talking about, but it's only going to hurt you at the end of the day. Like, you're going to lose reputation. People are going to drop you. You're going to lose a lot of clients as you go on. And, you know, it's quite difficult and expensive to get a client. So my philosophy is try and keep them as long as you can. And it might take you longer to get a client by being real with them, but once you do, you won't lose them because they'll see the improvements, and from there you'll build a long-term partnership. So having a look at some maps, these are just the top 4 businesses that we're ranking. So the first thing I'm going to look at is how is there a keyword in the business name. Now, you might have already done this initially when you signed up the client. Maybe you didn't, but it's good to check again. Like, if you're stuck for rankings, then it's something in the process you're doing that's missing. So, you know, starting again, doing the basic steps, the audits, is always a good idea, because things do change and Google updates and rewards certain things. And maybe one day Google wasn't rewarding keywords in business names, and the next day they are. So check that out. Law offices. This one says law group. This one says law firm. This one says law firm. This one says law. This one says law offices. So if you see your client just says their name, and like their name and something, or PC, you know that that's a reason why potentially they're not ranking, because they don't have a keyword that every other competitor has in their title. And something like law that's so sort of synonymous with the name of the business, I think you'd be pretty safe to change the name, build some citations, update the business name. Try build some citations with the new name first to sort of corroborate that with Google. But that's clearly in this category, having law as the keyword in the name is very important. And then checking the review count, the photo count. That's two things I'm always going to do. So we use Plepper. If you haven't heard of Plepper, it is fantastic. It's a Google Chrome extension. It's also a website. Gives you all the information about the Google business. Fantastic. And it gives you the image count. So if we go to the front, we can go 48, 36. Doesn't say for that one. 212, 34, 12. So, you know, you should see some sort of consistency with the images. Generally, the more images a business has, they rank slightly better. But it's not always the case. And the review count to see how you guys are for reviews. So you can see these guys all have quite a lot of reviews. They're ranging between 94 and 772. So if you've got 50 reviews, again, you can sort of start to see why you're not getting the results that you expected. And I think something to note is, again, with that client expectation, like as long as you're getting improvements and as long as you have a roadmap and you know where you're going and where you need to be, clients are happy to come along for the journey and sort of stay with you. If you're keeping them up to date and you have a clear roadmap and a plan for what's necessary, working with businesses to get the goals achieved is always beneficial for everybody. Like we can't go out and get 100 reviews for our clients, but we can help implement systems in our clients' businesses that will generate the reviews over a longer period of time to help catch up with review counts, and we can consistently upload photos on their profile to increase the amount of photos. And if we know what numbers we need to work towards, then it makes the journey so much easier. It makes the monthly deliverables so much easier because you know what you have to do month on month to get the results. So checking the review count, checking the photo count. If you check, we speak a lot about the products. So it's hard to show these days because often they're not showing them. But products on the Google business listing is something that's important. Your services as a business are your products. So adding the services as products on your Google business listing and then linking them across to the internal page on your website is a beneficial tactic. So like this, like aluminium pool fencing, and then this links to the page on my website about aluminium pool fencing, and the same with glass pool fencing and timber pool fencing. So you could have criminal law, and you could have car accident lawyer, and you could have, I don't know, insurance lawyer, and link them across. If any of those inconsistencies between you and the competitors is gonna hurt your ranking achievements. So if you still
Guys,
haven't
if you have any question, please let us know. You know, we're actually showing you the back end of the GMB, right? The edited products, edited service, so you guys can see. You definitely want to put that in there, right? And again, when it comes to keywords, you guys know that I mean entities, variations, NLP keywords, some semantics, SEO in there to try to connect the dots and let Google know in every area what you're about, where you at, what keyword you're going after.
Definitely important, no doubt. And linking services to pages and linking your Google Maps to your website is just trust signals, and Google works on trust signals. The more Google trusts you and the more transparent you are with Google, the more they're going to reward you, because the more they trust your website. But something that's super important more than ever, I think in the past 12 months, is the review velocity. So how many reviews you're getting versus the competitors. So if you take the last 30 days, and this might backfire completely. I'm gonna do a live test. I like playing with fire. Newest. Or we sort these by newest. I'm going to assume that we'll see quite a lot of reviews for the guys that rank towards the top. We got 6 days, a week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, a month, a week, 3 weeks, a month, and not so many. And then here we go, 2 months. 2 months, a month. Oh, that's not in order. Anyway, review velocity is very important. We've done tests on it before. The more reviews you're getting, if you're getting more reviews than your competitors in the same time frame, then you're going to improve in rank quicker than them. No doubt.